So I did not want to make this video, but apparently I had to because the United States of America did not get the hint. Apparently, PragerU is still here and somehow still gaining power. Now, if you haven't been living under a rock, you have heard about PragerU, the company, the organization, and the YouTube channel, same thing, whatever you want to call it. They've been around for about a decade or so, and they are a propaganda site and channel that promotes conservative viewpoints and ideologies. Now, despite the name PragerU, they are not a university or accredited college or institution at all. And you want proof of that? Let's go to their website right now. So we're already here on the website, and we've got all their little stuff here. You got all their stupid opinion-based stuff. Oh, look, fundraising month. Here's donations already. Oh, you could buy their books. Their little kid shows to indoctrinate kids, which they always talk about. Oh my God, the left side indoctrinating our kids, and yet what are they doing? More donation crap. Oh, buy their crappy overpriced merch, and all the way down here at the very bottom, this tiny print, PragerU is not an accredited university, nor do we claim to be. We don't offer degrees, but we do provide educational, entertaining, pro-American videos for every age. Okay, first of all, your videos are crap. Educational, that's a joke right there. They are entertaining, not in the way they think. They're entertaining because they're so stupid. But yeah, and while I don't think there's any times they've like fully claimed to be university, they act like they really are like educational a lot of the times and like telling the truth, which they literally lie a lot of the times. There's plenty of proof of that. If you haven't heard, their big donors are the Wilkes brothers, who are billionaire hydraulic fracking brothers, who obviously are one of their biggest investors. So with investors in natural fossil fuel resources like that, it's kind of hard not to have a bias against like environmentalism, because it literally goes against their investors. So they have literally lied about that many times. There's plenty of evidence and proof on that. If you want to read on it, just go look it up. That's not what this video is about, so I'm not going to go into that, but that's a whole story for itself. Now, while I'm on this PragerU website also, you know how hard it is to find that information about those big donors? They have all this money about donate, buy their crap, but like I can't find anywhere on their website where it talks about those big Wilkes brothers donors. Now, I'm not saying it's not on the website. It's probably there somewhere, and it's not like it's hard to find when you Google it. You can just easily find that they are investors. It's not like a hidden thing, but like on their actual website, it is kind of funny that I cannot find it, although I don't want to be on this website any longer, so let's get out of here. So the main reason I'm making this video and what sparked it is, if you haven't heard, states like Oklahoma and Florida have now approved PragerU Kids and PragerU regular videos and content in their school districts, which is just astounding to me considering they have no educational basis, and they're heavily politicized and leading heavily conservative, which they like to talk about like, oh, they're teaching these liberal stuff to our kids, when the whole point is we're trying to teach neutral. We're not trying to add politics at school, when you guys, aka the Republicans, conservatives, are doing that. And they always talk about like, oh, they're indoctrinating the kids. How is this not indoctrination? You are literally indoctrinating them. But there's just so much dangers to them being part of this. I know teachers still do have a choice not to use this content, but I don't know, Oklahoma people and Florida people, ugh. Not saying all of you are bad. There's probably some great people in those states, but ugh. I mean, you've heard what the Oklahoma Senator said about LGBTQ people. He literally said this. Yeah, he called every one of you who identify as that filth. Great guy, you know? Great guy, Oklahoma Senator. But if you want more perspectives and evidence and information about how bad that is for students and teachers alike, and how PragerU should not be in schools, here's a great video I saw by Zoe Bee right here. I'm not subscribed to her. I've never seen her. I'm not affiliated with her or anything, but I thought it was a great video that really went into all the facts and details and how ridiculous this all is, and how they love to indoctrinate kids when it's their media and stuff. And it's just a great perspective because it's actually coming from a teacher, and I even come from a teaching background. I'm actually a substitute right now, so I'm kind of annoyed when these conservatives love pushing their agendas down our throats, when they act like liberals shove it down their throats, when we're just trying to be more open-minded and respectful of all people. But I digress. And now, that brings us to the main point of this video, the short that got me so infuriated to start this. Now, to start with a little background, I myself am clearly white. I'm a male, I identify as male, I have no issues with that, and I'm straight. So you might think, if you're a conservative Republican, why am I siding with those liberal idiots who don't know their own gender? It's because I don't care that much about what other people identify as. They have the right to do that, and it's none of my business. And even if I don't agree with everything they might be about, why should I care or hate them just because of what they are? They're not doing anything damaging or mean to other people. They're not like Nazis going around trying to like kill people. Like, that's what's so crazy. Like, Republicans and conservatives are so worried about stuff that aren't issues, and they're always trying to like vilify it and demonize people with just so much hatred, when I'm always about not hatred and just liking and loving everyone, which ironically is part of the whole New Testament, which they always preach about, like, oh, love everyone, when they're all biblo idiots. Like, not biblo, they're all Bible thumpers, and they talk about love and Jesus, and all they do is hate on people. And I'm an atheist, by the way, and even I understand that the New Testament has some good morals to it, but Republicans don't do that. They don't give a shit about that. Now, let's watch the video together. Or the short, actually.
I'm passionate about this, as you can tell.
Alright, so he's passionate, and so am I. Also, big problem about YouTube Shorts, they don't have descriptions, so they don't have sources really here. So, of course, I had to do that, and that's so misleading not to have sources on your video. Ridiculous. All my sources will be in the description, because I'm not an asshole like these people.
So I think that society's task is to protect children. Look at the percentage increase in young people who say that they are the other sex.
Okay, so society's duty is to protect children. Obviously, that's true. But you really want to go there. You really want to go there, Dennis Prager. What is the leading cause of death for children, aka under 18-year-olds in this country? I'll give you one whole year to think about it. Okay, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. It's guns. Shocker, the things they always love to protect and talk about their Second Amendment rights. I want a right to shoot a... I ain't going to say that because I'm not racist like some of those people, but they would love to do that if they wanted to. But, yes, if you really want to look into this, car crashes for a long time used to be the leading cause of death, but sadly, in this country where we respect guns more than actual kids, the leading cause of death now is guns, not trans people. I don't know how a person's identity kills people. That just makes no sense to me. So I just love when they talk about caring about the kids. It might sound, what I'm saying is pretty much verbatim of this one famous Jon Stewart clip from The Problem with Jon Stewart on Apple TV. You can watch that here, where he's literally talking to, I think it was an Oklahoma senator. I know it was a senator, but like, he basically made the same point at PragerU's making here, and Jon Stewart basically says what I say. It's like, you're talking about protecting the kids, like, trans people aren't doing anything. They're just people, like, they're not killing people.
What's the leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that, because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Let's continue.
From almost zero, it climbs.
Oh yeah, so he talks about how, oh my god, it's rising from zero. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later. So the whole thing is he's talking about how there was never trans. It was never a thing before, just like sounds familiar when the whole gay movement was happening a couple decades earlier, I guess. We're like, where are these gay people coming from? Gay was never a thing in my day. Guess what? There's a lot of history, and this shit goes back way into the BC era, but we'll get to that a little later.
Like a mountain, like a ski slope.
Also, you notice how this music is like so, like, oh my god, it's so dangerous. Like, get the thunderous sounds, and it's all creepy, like this tragedy. Like, oh my god, they're making it so dramatic. I love this little report here, by the way. It's a little snippet. You can't even see who wrote it or who it's from. I found that report, by the way. It's a New York Times report. And that crazy rise, that sharp rise of young people, it's only like 1.5 3 to 1.4% of like young adults, and then only 0.5% of adults. I don't know how that's a sharp, crazy rise. It's literally such a small population, but they act like it's the biggest deal. That's why it cracks me up, why they care so much about this. But yeah, as we can see, the numbers are pretty low. It's not like this groundbreaking thing. And of course, there'd be more people identifying as trans when there's more awareness about it and more respect given to those people. Obviously not from Republicans. They obviously aren't giving any respect. But yeah, let's see their other article here. Yeah, they say, oh my God, 5% of young adults. And I found that article too. And essentially, I don't think they understand that just identifying as trans and then actually transitioning is different. And then there's some people, I think they don't remember this or think about this very often, is some people are literally born with both genitalia or no genitalia. So what are those people? Just, like, do they act like those people not exist? Like, that's literally possible. You could also be born with multiple chromosomes. Like, I know you can have like XXY or XYY. Like, there's some weird chromosome patterns you can have that are real things that they completely ignore. Not every trans person transitions also. They might still identify as it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we all know that, like, things like high heels, like, ooh, feminine thing. Well, men wore it back in the day, skirts too. The color pink even, like, all this gender identity stuff is just completely fabricated bullcrap. So I completely agree with the trans people that why did we make such a big deal about what your sex is and your gender identity? Also, they don't know the difference between gender and sex. Your sex is like your biological, and your gender is like what you identify as. Like, I don't think they realize that you don't have to align with that specifically, and that all the stuff that makes you align with it doesn't really mean anything. So why are they so worried about masculinity and femininity? And also, they're always worried about people taking away their masculinity when no one's taking away your masculinity. You're just bitching about nothing. Just because guys can act more feminine without being harassed and ridiculed, now your masculinity is going, like, seriously? But yeah, I love their articles, that are these snippets, like these horror stories. Let's continue.
The rapidity with which this has happened. Do you think this has happened rapidly because all of a sudden kids are free to say they're the other sex? They've hidden it for the last 1,000 years, 2,000 years? No, it is because they have been deeply influenced.
Oh my God, you think they've hidden it? They just magically did? Yeah. Actually, yeah. Obviously, the rise in people identifying as trans is because there's less stigma about it from obviously left-leaning stuff, not the right. Obviously, the right is vilifying them, and more awareness about it, and just like more laws protecting them. And literally the lie, he's just like, no, that doesn't happen. Like, no, it was never a thing back in the day. Like, do you even, like, use the internet? This is not a new thing. Like, let's just go on a freaking timeline here. We can go all the way back to, like, the BCs, like the 1000 BCs. I mean, obviously, dates get a little iffy back in the BCs because we don't really know exactly what year. Like, we go to the 2000 BCs, a burial of a suburb in Prague, Czech Republic. A male is buried in the outfit usually reserved for women. And the archaeologists speculate the burial corresponds to a transgender person or someone of the third sex. There's some in the Neolithic and Bronze Age drawings in the Mediterranean depict third sex human figures, like ones with female breast and male genitals, and some without any distinguishing sex characteristics. You can even go back to the ancient Roman Empire, where Philo of Alexandria stated this, that expending every possible care on their outward adornment, they are not ashamed even to employ every device to change artificially their nature as men into women. He also attests that some members of this group, to that end, had their penises removed. It's almost like trans ideologies and just identifying or just being trans, it's not new at all. Like, oh my God, shocker. And these lists go on, like for the thousands and the 1900s and all sorts of time. But yeah, the point is, you can look it up. There's plenty of evidence that trans ideologies and just being trans or even transgender transitions aren't new at all. And he's so shocked, like, oh my God, you think this came from thin air? Like, these people just came out of nothing. Like, he's just trying so hard to make it seem like it's, oh my God, so shocking. Like, dude, do your research.
May really be the other sex. That's the message on social media. And to their everlasting disgrace, many psychiatrists and psychologists.
And then he has to make it about political bullcrap. Like, oh, see, if you have a problem, kid, they want you to be trans. Like, no, most of people, including myself, just advocate for mental health and truly realizing who you are. I mean, obviously for some people, which a very small percentage of people, by the way, may want to become trans or identify as a different gender from what they're born with or what they have. But nobody's absolutely like saying, oh, if you have problems, you're just the wrong gender. Like, that's not the main thing here. Like, we don't just go like, oh, you have depression? Probably because you're the wrong gender. Like, people don't talk like that. Like, where is this coming from? He's just like pulling these things out his ass. His old crusty hairy ass. I guarantee. I don't want to see his ass. I don't know why I'm like, I guarantee it's hair. I don't want to see Dennis Prager's crusty balls ass. But yeah, he just. It's just a horrible short video. Obviously I disliked it, and I hope you do too. And I hope you spread this message that these anti-trans rhetorics are just super dangerous, because all they do is spread more hate to people who are already a very small minority and already have mental health issues, because they're ridiculed against. They get called lots of names. The suicide rate is very high. Well, they might say the suicide rate's high is because they're fucked up in the head because they think they're this. Well, actually, it's mostly because you have people like you guys, the conservatives and Republicans, talking shit about them, acting like they're not even human, that they should be scum, sending them conversion therapy camps. You think that's not a little bit part of it? Spewing your endless hatred for people just for being themselves? Like, you guys, I keep saying you guys, like, I don't mean my viewers, I'm just talking about, you know who I'm talking about. They care so much about other people and their business, and then they hate it when you start, like, affecting their stuff, like putting, like, their indoctrination in schools, like trying to read the Bibles in schools, and they get so mad when people push back against that, even though that's exactly what they stand against. They're like, oh, we hate indoctrination in schools, but not our indoctrination. It's like, you're hypocrites. And Dennis Prager, I can't wait for you to fall over and croak, respectfully, because I don't promote death. But maybe, if you keep going down this road, maybe I might wish it a little bit. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like this video, give a thumbs up or subscribe. If you're not very happy with political content, it's okay if you don't want to watch my videos anymore. I might be leaning more into this because I'm very passionate about this, especially with this upcoming election cycle. That's okay if you're not around for that, but if you are around for that, make sure to keep watching. If you want me to do another one on this whole election cycle and keep going, leave me a comment. Thanks for watching. I am going to cry in my sleep, because I'm a little crybaby liberal. By the way, that whole crybaby thing, I have never seen people cry more than conservatives bitching about their boy Trump losing the election when it was stolen. All right, bye.